District 1 and 2 on.
Do we have a sign-in sheet tonight?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was actually.
Is there one? Yes, I'm sorry. Let's get it.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, Alan, they're going to go on
thank
here.
you. Okay. All right, this is the city commission meeting, 6 o'clock Thursday, September the 10th, 2020. Our invocation tonight will be given by Ralph Lopez, and I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. And then if you would remain standing, we're going to have a moment of silence regarding 9/11. So if you would please stand.
Let's bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you today for the blessing to be able to come together and work for our residents. Lord, we just ask you to bless us and help us make decisions that are pleasing to you. We ask you to just keep watching over us, and we ask you to bless our city. Just bless all of us as we travel back and forth and do our work. We thank you most of all, Lord, for the sacrifice of your Son, Jesus. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you'd remain standing and just bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Roll call, please. Mayor Litchfield.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Here.
Commissioner Moya.
Here.
Commissioner Ganova.
Here.
Commissioner Arias.
Here.
Are there any considerations of changes or deletions to the agenda? Anyone have anything, Mark?
No, ma'am.
Next is public comments. Citizens wanting to speak have signed in prior to the start of the meeting. Public comments is an opportunity for citizens to comment on non-agenda items. This isn't for discussion or questions and answers. Citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak. So please join from your computer, tablet, smartphone, whatever you're logged into. So first on the list is Jerry Lopez.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Jerry Lopez. I come here tonight to kind of clear the airways of something that was said at your last commission meeting. I want to let it know that the Knights of Columbus has not filed bankruptcy. So if you know if we filed bankruptcy, please let us know, because if we owe you any money, let us know, because we have a remaining balance that we're about to drop in this community. That's $11,000 that's going to go back in this community. For Miss O'Dorothy to accuse us of trying to slander our name of our organization. We were a corporate council. What happened there is that the hardship became of the COVID. The restrictions of the mass gathering limited us of being able to perform the bingos, our dance nights, and all the other fundraising that we did. So what is being considered now is, with the state in the talks, is that the state has started the communication with our local parish priest to become a parish-based council. So what that means for the people that are listening is that we're not going solid inactive. We just went into a temporary inactive status so we can reestablish into the parish. So what being established into the parish means that we're going to be based out of St. Anne's. We're not going to be a corporate council like we always have, of all the service that we've done for the community for 43 years. So with the remaining of our sales of our building, we're going to drop that money back into the community that has supported this organization for 43 years here in Tucumcari. For Food for Families, Coats for Kids, CYFD programs. That's what we're going to be doing with our remaining money. So for Miss Dorothy, if you think we're trying to slander our name, or not think you trying to slander our name, we're not going to tolerate it anymore. I'm sorry, Commissioner, we got to come here to this, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to continue our civic duty, try to continue the New Mexico Music Showcase, celebrate our heritage, the culture that we have, and that's all we want to continue to do. I would not want to bring something to this commission asking you to give me a variance on trying to convert a residential area into a commercial zone. When we started this process, we looked around. I'm sorry, but there's many vacant homes in this town that you could have bought as well. So with that being said, I'm sorry to be so negative, because that's not me. We can all work together on this. Never once there was ever a DUI that came out of that Columbus Club. Chief, I'm right here. I don't know if he has the statistics on it, but we never had a DUI come out of there. Never once did we vandalize anybody's property. We weren't open 7 days a week. We were only open for fundraising so we can give back into this community that we all love. I would not want to destroy this community because I live in this community. I serve this community. For me to come over here to try to destroy families, that's not us. So for the safety of your kids and your grandkids, Miss Billy,
Yes, sir.
the Baptist Church has the same thing. We work with them. Ask the Baptist Church if we've ever ran over any of their kids. Matter of fact, they'll tell you, they forgot we were even in existence. For loud music, I don't need to come to this commission and ask them to give me permission to play loud music. We can do it all hours of the night, as long as we're in compliance with Tucson Trade Police Department. Again, Commission, I'm sorry for being so negative, but let's do it the right way. Let's get a liquor license in it so we can control it by the Liquor Authority Board, because if not, we can come in here, we can have binge drinking. We can't control binge drinking, but when you have a liquor license that's being controlled by the Liquor Board, being overseen, there's control of it. So we want to try to do the easiest way, the safest way, and the legal way to give tax back into this community, not only local level, state level. So again, let's stop the slandering. Let's work together. We're a community here. I'm not going to say that you're not going to benefit off of it, but we're going to support this community in any time they need to be. So, Commission, I'm sorry that I had to come in here negative, but I wanted to clear the airway. We did not file bankruptcy. And if we did, show me the legals, if we did. But you're gonna see in the articles here in the near future that we're gonna come back as a parish-based council, and you're gonna see the money that the remainder of our sale of our building is gonna come back into the community that supported the Knights Club's 43 years. Again, Commissioner, I thank you. And if you guys have any questions for me, you guys know how to get a hold of me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is Miss Philly, Miss Melissa Philly. Philly, not Philly, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Philly.
I'm sorry.
Okay, the newspaper did say that y'all could be open from 7 to 2 o'clock in the morning, and y'all would be doing that. I have grandkids, and I did not buy that home thinking that they wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And anybody that has ever been to a bar, just because they haven't gotten caught doesn't mean that they haven't drove home drunk. And everybody knows that when people get to drinking and arguing, there is fights. That we bought that home because it's all houses right there. We didn't want a bar right there. And like I said before, you said it was gonna be a teen deal, not people drinking and partying and stuff. I'm trying to raise a family. I'm part of this community too. And I don't think it's right that everybody just has to sit down and be quiet and just put up with stuff. My home value is gonna go down to the tubes. I mean, I don't understand why everybody's trying to attack. I never said that Columbia went bankrupt. I never said anything like that. All I said was, why would y'all put it by homes where people are trying to raise a family, trying to care for their kids? Why wouldn't y'all put it somewhere else? Like, over there by Kmart, or somewhere where y'all could have 54 and I-40 hit y'all, not in the middle of town where it's supposed to be quiet. I'm not, please don't roll your eyes at me. I'm not trying.
I'm not rolling.
No, ma'am.
Oh,
I was
oh,
talking
okay.
to him.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I have nothing but respect for everybody in this
I'm not rolling my
community.
eyes,
I just,
either, for the record.
I want to raise my family here. I grew up in Logan. We came back to Tucumcari. I don't know why it's so hard and everybody's against this. My grandbaby isn't even 2 years old. My husband has health problems. I mean, if this goes on, he isn't gonna get to sleep very good. Our property, our shop, where my kids and my husband mechanic, it's gonna be very difficult because when they have their deal, they're gonna park right next to our house and they ain't gonna be able to get in and out of their shop or in the yard with their vehicles. I'm not trying to be difficult.
thank you.
I'm just trying to get everybody to see that doing it in a residential area is not very nice for most people that are living there and bought homes.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda is,
Mayor, if I may,
oh, yeah,
I had the,
oh, that's
briefly
right.
discussed, you had a citizen call in earlier, during working hours to relay a message. Mr. Gilbert Pacheco called me this afternoon and wanted to express his sincere apologies for his behavior at last commission meeting. He also stated that he personally wanted to apologize to Mayor Litchfield as well as Mrs. Arias, that it was a complete misunderstanding on how the process went with the go-to meeting. I've invited him to City Hall once he starts feeling better. He was underneath the weather, that's why he couldn't be here personally tonight. But to kind of show him how the go-to meeting works and just to show him where I was coming from on the background, but he did want to apologize to everybody. The commission as a whole, but he specifically mentioned the mayor and Mrs. Arias.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, could you pass this down, Betty? Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the consent agenda. This agenda is approved by a single motion from any member of the commission. May request an item be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent without discussion or vote. And the ones that we will be acknowledging tonight are the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes from April 28th, the approval of the August 24th special work minutes, meeting session minutes, approval of the August 27th work session minutes, and approval of the August 27th commission meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve this consent agenda?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Commissioner Gamera,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. Okay. Next on the agenda is ordinances and resolutions. Resolution 2020-32. This is to adopt and submit 2022 through 2026 ICIP to DFA resolution to adopt this.
Thank you, Mayor. Alex couldn't be here tonight, so she asked me to present this for her. The infrastructure capital improvement plan is put together annually, and gives us a 5-year plan of our project priorities for the city. It's also required for a lot of the funding sources that we apply for to have our capital or ICIP in place. The last year's top 2 projects were already funded, so we basically just took those off, and then we just moved everything else up, in the same priority that it was, so everything that wasn't funded now just moved up higher on the list.
So
And
This
This
is good for
resolution
4
is-
years, right? This is good for 4 years?
it's a 5-year plan, I think, but I think it'll be 4 years from this year.
Okay, okay.
And
I believe
if
that's
I may, Mayor, they typically update the ICIP priority list every year. It's
Oh, okay.
updated annually.
Cause on number 3, it says, 2019, the 22nd.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, and we have some that are in the process of being funded. We've applied for them, and one that's actually supposedly funded, but they haven't released the funds on it yet. It's just kind of in limbo right now.
Right.
Yeah, so, some of them they seem like duplicates, but they're actually in process, so. This resolution is required to turn into DFA as part of that, application process. So at this time, I'd like to ask for your approval of this resolution.
I'd entertain a motion to approve resolution 2020-32.
Madam Mayor, if I may ask one question?
Yes,
On number 5, the East Route 66 infrastructure improvements, is that the funding that we just received
Yes,
from capital outlay?
yes, sir. We were funded 300,000 on it, but I don't believe they've sold the bonds for those yet. I'm having to do, updates on it on our, computer, that we keep annual updates on it yet, but the funding's not been released and we've not got an agreement on it yet, so.
And we do have verification that it survived the special session?
They have, it's still up where I have to do updates on it electronically every month. So I assume it's still there, but just not funded yet.
Okay, thank you. Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution 2020-32.
okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Next, under bids and contracts, is approval of amendment number 1 to the agreement for engineering services Hoover tank design. Ralph?
Mayor Commissioners, we put out an RFP and received proposals for our engineering service for the Hoover tank. We selected Stantec for this project. They already have an original agreement with us in the amount of $13,000 that they've already performed for the technical memo to update our water plan for the city. With that being done, they want to start design now, and this is the amendment to do that. It's for the engineering services, the design services in the amount of $130,398.25. And that brings the total adjusted amount for their total contract with us to $143,424.75.
Okay.
And this takes us up through the bidding phase. It does not include construction. They'll propose another amendment at the time of construction.
This is the Hoover water tank.
Yes, sir.
So the question I have in this whole thing, the engineer studies and everything, the recommendation, because it was built in 1938, it also says this tank is a concrete tank that was built in, but then it's also what are we gonna keep the safety of that tank once it's empty from people vandalizing or any problem occurring from it, since it says they cannot tear it down? Another question.
First of all, it's limited access. It's behind lock and key. It's on private land on the T4 ranch. And only our water department has access to it. They have to have the key to get in there. It's very out of the way and it's almost hidden. If you don't know it's there, it's hard to even find it. So that's the main thing. As far as if something happened to it where it fell down or anything like that, unless a cow was standing next to it, I think it's pretty safe. I don't think there's any danger to the public.
Okay, that's one of the biggest concerns I have. Just to clear out, as you see, this was constructed with concrete.
Yes, sir, yeah.
The other thing is, I noticed that in the bid, and the recommendation is that we're replacing the asbestos concrete pipe, the cement pipe.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a lot of that still in the community? Because that seems that the asbestos part always just kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah, we do have a lot of it actually.
Because those are put in with the WPA and other things.
Yes, sir.
So are we gonna be working on it, hopefully to remove those?
We actually prefer to abandon it in place. The danger with that AC pipe is actually cutting it and moving it and breaking it. That's what disturbs it and releases it into the air. We prefer actually to just abandon it in place. What we're gonna do is put the new pipe parallel to the old
The
pipe.
ones that we still utilizing that running water through, is the question I have.
Yeah. It's not a danger, so they tell us to, as far as drinking it, it's just inhaling it is allegedly the danger of it, so.
All right.
Right, I would entertain a motion to approve amendment 1 to the agreement for engineering services on the Hoover tank design.
I'll make a motion that we approve amendment 1 for the Hoover tank design.
Do I have a second? You hear?
Yes.
Well, I didn't know because with these maps and everything. All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Gamera,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is consideration of the city manager contract. So, I'm excited about this one. Shannon, would you want to present this or do you want me to?
I will wait.
Okay. So, we have hired a new city manager and, it is Mr. Mark Martinez, and we're all very pleased to say that he accepted the job, and we're proud to have him on board with us to be our permanent city manager for right now. So, we have entered his contract and the agreement between the city, with him. I don't know how much of this do I read?
As much as you want to. It's all public knowledge. Once it's signed and approved, and it's public record.
Okay, well, of course, this is the 10th day of September between the city of Tucumcari and our duly elected city manager, Mark A. Martinez. And at his salary will be $80,000, which is public information, so we're not trying to hide anything. And it's a 2-year contract, so we're just very pleased right now and very happy to welcome Mark. So, and he's been doing a great job interim, and so we have lots of confidence in him.
Good.
So, I would entertain a motion to approve this contract.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the employment agreement with Mr. Mark Martinez.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes, and I have a question. We did have all the corrections that we
Right.
recommended on there
Yes.
already?
Yes, he did put those
Do
in
we
there.
have it all corrected? Thank you.
Commissioner Gamera.
Yes.
Yay, thank you. We're glad we have a city manager. So Karen, you kept asking me the other day, and I couldn't say anything, so now I can say it. So we're excited.
You can have him show an action question.
Right. Tomorrow morning.
There you go.
Next is the approval of the agreement between the city of Tucumcari and, how do you say it? Rico USA for copier machines.
Yes,
And Helica, I believe you'll be presenting this.
I will. I have been working diligently with John Matthews, who is a representative of Rico USA. We worked really hard to get this down to as low as we could possibly get it. In the last year, I believe our monthly lease agreement was $2,147 a month. I am very happy to say that we have brought it down to $1,254.09. So in a 4-year period, that is a savings of $37,633. Of course, that's just for the lease. That doesn't include any prints. So that amount will go up. If departments use their machine more, of course, they get charged more. That amount, of course, goes up. But nonetheless, the savings is approximately $37,633.44 for a 4-year contract. And our monthly, did I say monthly $1,254.09? And that is for 11 units. 11 copiers, yes.
And that's the 1,254 right now is for all 11 copiers?
Yes, and that is a monthly fee.
A monthly fee for the rental, for the equipment?
That is just the lease.
Okay, how much is it for the printing?
The printing, per
Per page or whatever they do?
So for color, it is 0.0069 cents. For color, it's 0.045. So for example, I have an analysis here. For the police department, for example, they use 1,200 black and white copies. Their monthly cost was $8.28 for black. So color, they use 2,000 prints. They paid $90. So the $180.15 for the lease, plus that $828 and $90 is what they would pay for the month.
So what would average for all departments, especially with all of them machines that you're talking about?
What do you mean the average? Like,
Because we're paying for the copy and then you come up with the amount that is utilized for that month.
right, so we're not doing it as an average. Each machine is different. Like City Hall has it has the biggest machine. So our lease agreement is $245.50 to where, Streets Department, theirs is just this makes black and white copies. I don't even think it's Staples. It's just a simple copier. Their lease agreement is $37.98. So it's not so much an average, it's the machine that they select. So I don't know, other than adding them up and dividing it by 11, that
No,
would
I
be
mean
the average.
in that category, I mean, like, let's say, for example, you make 50,000 copies out of City Hall.
Mhm.
And you're not paying for every page, which would be whatever. What would be the average to the whole 11 machines? So how much do we wind up paying for all the copying that we do?
So for we're anticipating that for the 11 machines, that total cost would be $535.51 for 1 month.
For
On
all
top,
11 machines.
that's the anticipated.
Now, which leads me to the other question. When in here it says something about the equipment, I mean, I didn't read all the contracts, I didn't get to the back part of it. But in here, it said clearly something to the effect of, if you need extra equipment and stuff like that, then it's a charge or something that they would, on the paper and whatever, if you buy it from them, and if you, whatever.
Correct, so we
And if
choose,
we use others, they're not liable for their maintenance, and they will charge us for the maintenance.
right, so, and that is correct. So along with that, with the 11 machines, it's including maintenance and supplies, which is the ink toner. That's free, or not so much free, but it's part of our lease agreement. And we get our paper from another company.
But it
So-
says that if you go over the amount that is supplied, you buy the other extra things, right?
Right,
Do you kind of, let's say, for example, you have ordered, the amount of ink for one machine, but you still have the cartridges left, because you usually do, you know? Can that be transferred to another machine?
yes, and not so much our machine, maybe with community development, but yes, there's a couple of machines that are identical. So yes, you are able to switch. So let's
it
go
would be
say,
like a total amount.
yeah, so let's go say Streets Departments they're out of black ink. So, and then you have, the fire department who has the same machine, then we can take their black ink and.
Without having to
Exactly.
charge for the one that the street department would need.
And so keep in mind, we also get a warning, we get an email every time the toner the copier is down, we get an email if there's any issues, any paper jams on any unit, I get those emails, so, we don't very often have many problems with our
And the
units,
contract was
so.
kind of loosely, I'm saying, when they have to come in and do maintenance. You know?
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned
And
maintenance.
I was looking at that, and it's very loose on the definition of it.
Okay, so, I'm very glad you brought up maintenance, because one of the biggest, attractions to selecting Rico, is that their maintenance person lives in Logan. So we don't have to deal with somebody coming from Albuquerque if our machine is down. He lives in Logan, and most of the time, probably 95% of the time, we'll call him, Toby, we have a problem, and he is here and he's fixing it immediately. So there's not,
But it says they have the option to be charged extra in the contract.
yeah, probably for some parts maybe, if it's not, if it's something that we did,
Or if you have too much maintenance according to them.
yeah, and we've never had that problem.
Contract, I mean, this is.
Right, so we've never had that problem, so I don't anticipate that being a problem in the future.
No, I
And it's a
understand that.
standard
I hope it
agreement.
doesn't become that, but you know, when you read a contract and you look at the loosely part, that's the thing that concerns me the most, because that can be expensive.
Absolutely,
Especially if they want to enforce it.
sure.
Alright, so any other questions?
Just one comment, I'd like to thank Angelica for her hard work on this to save $30,000 on the contract. But like you said, we've continued to go with Rico because they provide a great product as well as great customer service. So hats off to her, I really appreciate what she did, especially to save that kind of amount of money. We know how tight the budget is, so thank you.
Yes, we do appreciate you. Thank you.
Now we can get you that archiving software.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the agreement between the city of Tucumcari and Rico USA for copier machines.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agreement between the city of Tucumcari and Rico USA for copier machines.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Commissioner Ganova,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, under new business is the acceptance of CARES Act funding for small business. I believe that's Mark.
Yes, Mayor. I'll be presenting this. I'm happy to announce that based on the CARES Act grant funding that was available, I was able to submit an application for grant funding with some assistance from the fire chief. And by doing so, this one specifically is for small businesses. We asked for quite a bit more, but we ended up with $27,956, which is a great amount. This is 100% grant. It's not a low interest loan. It's not a 0% interest loan. This is 100% grant. And by doing so, I've already conducted meetings. We have a little group together. It's myself, the county manager, the economic development director, Vicki Watson from Small Businesses Association with the college, Connie Loveland down at Main Street. And we're discussing exactly how to start splitting up the money. There's some criteria that the state has come up with, Department of Finance. There's a scoring matrix. And based on that, we'll start promoting it and advertising on the radio, on Facebook and whatnot as we get more information. Next week, DFA will provide a training for the municipalities and counties. And once we have some guidance on how to start the process, we will start pushing it and trying to get some of these funds back to the local small businesses. So I'm very happy to announce that. To be able to do that, that's great during these difficult times to get some money back to these people. 100% grant free. They just have to provide some documentation, of course, and we'll have more to release to the public as we are trained from Department of Finance.
Thank you.
And with that, I send for any questions or ask for your approval to accept this.
Madam Mayor, I have one question. What is your time frame you're looking at to start getting this money into the hands of the small businesses?
As soon as possible. I don't have a strict timeline. I hate to paint myself in a corner. I don't want to build expectations up. It's honestly going to be determined on the state as quickly as they can get the training out to us. And once we're comfortable with it, there'll be the process. We'll have to send out the information to the interested individuals. They in return would fill out the application, and they do have to provide some background documentation for that as far as show some loss of sales, and it's very specific what the reimbursement could be for. It can be for utilities and whatnot that they had to pay when their business was closed, or a reduction in hours or capacity. So there's a lot of contingencies that fall into this. So my answer is as soon as possible, but more will follow as we learn from Department of Finance.
Thank you.
Right, I would entertain a motion to accept this grant from the CARES Act funding for small businesses.
I'll make a motion that we approve the CARES Act award for small businesses.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Ganova,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. Next is acceptance of the CARES Act funding for local government.
Yes, Mayor. So this is specifically for the local government here for the city of Tucumcari. And again, we applied for $13,221 and we received that exact amount. And the reason I requested that dollar amount is in the beginning, the state was wanting to see that we had backup documentation to show that we truly did spend that money, and it had to meet a certain criteria. So what I requested reimbursement for and for this funding was exactly for PPE directly related to COVID, as well as the cost of overtime that we had to pay out in our EMS department, which was a direct result from COVID-19. Unfortunately, we did have in the past, a while back, a couple of employees in the EMS department tested positive. So we had to increase overtime for certain individuals to fill those shifts. And in return, we're going to get compensated the full amount. And we already have all the full documentation in hand. That way, I didn't want to be greedy. I just wanted to get what was owed back to the city based on COVID-19. So with that, we did get 100%. And at this time, again, I stand for any questions or ask for your acceptance of this CARES Act funding.
Anybody have any questions on this?
I thought the PP was also for salaries, that could be implemented in that.
It was, the salaries had to be specifically tied to public safety overtime. If it was budgeted throughout our annual budget, which our day-to-day hours, they were budgeted with the last fiscal year's budget. And this was specifically from March through June 30th, the end of the fiscal year. If it's just regularly accounted for in our budget, we cannot ask for reimbursement on it. But considering it was out of our hands and increased overtime specifically due to COVID-19, that's what we could ask for, as well as PPE in general related towards COVID-19.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to accept the CARES Funding Act for local government.
I'll make a motion, we accept the CARES Act funding for local government.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Commissioner Villela?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Okay, and we have another CARES Act funding for local government.
No, there were just two.
They were just two. Oh, okay. All right, next is, oh, I see, is the approval of the affiliation agreement between the city of Tucumcari and New Mexico State University.
Yes, ma'am. This was the item that was tabled at the last commission meeting. We had already got approval from our city attorney, Mr. Knudsen. However, we had not heard the response back from Mexico State. We did make a few changes and everybody was fine with it. As discussed last meeting, this is an affiliation agreement between ourselves and NMSU in an effort to try to recruit. What it ultimately does is allow those individuals through that course, EMT classes, to be able to do their ride-alongs here in Tucumcari. And it's kind of nice, because for what it's worth, that overall, if you look at the totality of the whole state, our COVID numbers were quite low compared to everybody else. So with that being stated, we have people and programs here that will benefit from that, be able to do their ride-alongs. They don't have to travel all the way to Las Cruces. And also it gives us an opportunity to possibly get people from Las Cruces around the state that are in this program to come here, do their ride-alongs, and hopefully like Tucumcari and want to live here. And hopefully it helps with recruitment to try to get our EMS positions filled.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the affiliation agreement between the city of Tucumcari and New Mexico State University.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the affiliate agreement with NMSU.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Villela?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Next is our new city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to thank the commission and the citizens, everybody that's been supportive throughout this whole process. I know there's some difficult decisions that have had to been made during this time, and there'll be more difficult decisions throughout my time in this position that we'll have to make. But I do thank you for your faith in me. The other thing I'd like to do, of course, is wish my wife a happy anniversary. Along with this position, you have to have a strong supporting cast, and I wouldn't be able to do it without her and my two beautiful girls. So thank you very much for always being there for me. It is a stressful position, so I thank them. And I wanted to do something a little bit different tonight instead of the typical city manager's report. Again, I wanted to thank the community, the commission, my family for their support, and also my parents. I wouldn't be here without them. They are, they've taught me my work ethic, and I appreciate everybody that's been supportive during this time. And I promise to do the city right. I'm always going to act in the best interest of the city. And I invite anybody that has any questions, comments, concerns to come visit me. I have an open door policy. I'm running 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I may not be there at the time, but we'll get an appointment scheduled, and I'm always there available. So I'd like to thank everybody, and that's it. I got to get my beautiful wife out to dinner after this. I'll keep it short.
Thank you.
Well, welcome aboard.
Yes,
Thank you.
I think that's a hint, city commissioners. All right, so next is items from the commissioners.
I just wanna know where dinner's at. I'm heading that way too.
They can always slip in there.
Get in on it too. All right, Commissioner Villanueva, would you like to begin?
Yes, I had a few
complaints today about the potholes. I don't know, when we'll get our machine, do you know?
So the
Or
machine's
what's
up and
going on?
running. It was an electronic issue. We have since installed it, but unfortunately, you can't patch potholes when it's raining or it's wet outside. You have to make sure the potholes are dry, and you can do that with the compressor, but no fear, it's New Mexico. If you don't like the weather, stick around a little bit. We'll be in the 80s again tomorrow, so I imagine they'll be on task starting next week when it warms up to get back.
What I was thinking too, well, people say like if your machine don't work, why don't you just put cold mix? I guess.
We've done that in the past, and I try to avoid the Band-Aid effect, and I like to have a long-term solution. When you do Band-Aids, honestly, you end up losing money. You spend more and more money. But if there's something that is very critical, we've done that in the past, like we did up on 2nd Street. We patched it temporarily just because there was some kind of major threat, either to someone as far as an injury if they stepped in it. And we can do that. So yeah, that's, if you have any specific details, you can get with me afterwards.
Okay, and another thing, somebody was asking about the alleys, if you could smooth them out, because I guess some people can't walk or something, they use a vehicle or something to throw their trash. I guess somewhere's in my area, District 2.
We've addressed that concern as well. If there's anybody that has specific incidents with this, they can feel free to call City Hall and fill out a work order. I do currently have the Streets and Sanitation Department tasked that keep notes of areas that are really bad and have large ruts, and they're going through and filling with material. But if there's something specific, the only way, unless we're there all the time writing it down, is to get a complaint from the community. And once we get that, we put it on the list, we can get back to it.
Okay, another question, how many times do you do the trash in certain areas?
It depends, whether it's residential or commercial. Commercial, they pay more, they generate more trash, so they're picked up twice a week, and they could also call and request an additional pickup. There's an additional charge for that. Residential, with our large dumpsters, honestly, it's typically once a week. Things change based on holidays, but for the most part, we get there at least once a week.
Because I just have complaints of people saying that, I guess people are coming in from outskirts of town and putting in their dumpster, and then they wouldn't go theirs, and it's full, so.
And we've discussed that for citizens within city limits that are paying their utility bill. They're not restricted just to their dumpster. We've talked about that. We do not assign dumpsters to each individual house, so go down the road and down the block and dump it.
They could go down a block or.
Yeah, down the
But
alley.
we do respectfully request that they keep it based on ordinance, what they could dump. They're just household trash, no furniture, TVs, etc. It needs to be specifically household trash, and try not to abuse it. Try your own dumpster first behind your residence, but then.
Can we also request that county residents do not utilize our dumpsters?
Right.
We've done it.
Yeah.
We can respectfully request.
I just want to say congratulations and happy anniversary to you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Commissioner Villanueva,
More years.
they can also call in if their dumpsters are full and we'll send them back out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Moya?
Well, not very much, because it's anniversary, I'm gonna call it.
That's the best.
Can you have an anniversary every time?
I got, I come to this way, and on 1st and 2nd on High Street, that street has gotten pretty deteriorated, potholes, okay? Tuesday, I met with Senator Campos, and we discussed some of the issues that are going to taken care of. He's gonna want to set up the time when the culvert is over, so see what you guys have in mind for the capital outlay or whatever you can do to help you guys out. This year, he was a little disappointed, because he did say that he worked hard to get you the, what is it? The
Pothole machine.
The pothole machine, and he got it approved through the Senate. And then at the end, I guess, somebody made a little comment and call over there that we do not need the pothole, we already have one, and et cetera, et cetera. And so he said, the governor vetoed it, but as far as he was done, he came, he listened to you guys and did what you guys wanted. And he got you what you wanted. Sometimes, when we lucky enough to get something like that, we need to either contact the governor and say how much we need something, because right now, we don't even have pothole machine, we could have had that other one, because he had gone through the House and the Senate and got approved. So, he's gonna want to meet with you guys, with this commission again, to go over what your priorities are and what we need to do. Okay? I also like to say a couple of things here, and that is, I own some property, and I own the property which in question about this situation that's going on in town. One of the things that I like to point out is the fact is, back in the sixties, my parents bought the first home there on the 400 block. It was an in-town home, which is now my office. And there was a lot of elderly people. It was a residential at that time, and then they turned it into commercial. But because the homes were not empty for a period of 6 months, I think a total of 10 homes became what they call rental homes. And at that time, those rental homes became really drug dealing and difficulties, and a lot of stuff happened in a period of time. We had one area dealing with meth, the other one heroin, the other one everything that you could feel in those rental homes. What happened is, I made the decision then that I would purchase those homes because I really value my community, because at that time it was so bad. It was a lot of children, a lot of drug dealing and everything going on. So one of the things I did, I invested my money very heavily and bought 10 of the homes and had all the rentals that were there that became a drug, the old mill, it was in a drug infested area. So one of the things is that I also bought the building from my office, and the whole concept behind it is that I am very conscious about my neighborhood. If I invest that amount of money, I'm certainly going to take care of it. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is that is a C1. It's a commercial area, and that's and right now, because of my homes being empty for 6 months, and I don't intend to do any rentals on those buildings. I mean, as far as family homes or to live. If a home is actually empty for 6 months, it loses its status that it had with grandfather in. So one of the things is I do take care of my neighborhood. I invest heavy in that blocks area. I own 10 homes. And like I said, if I invest that much money, that means I take a lot of interest in the home. I also invested in the building across because I wanted to make sure that everything goes in there. I have my business is there. So all in all, I like to say is that sometimes when we buy a home, we should check the zoning area, because most of those homes have been empty for a long period of time. And a lot of them have lost the grandfather clause, which means they continue to be residential. Now it becomes what we call C1 commercial. So, we must prepare ourselves that all that area being a C1 residential can actually be potential for growth as far as any type of businesses coming in, any type of economic coming in, because that's why we have certain zoning in our community, so that residential areas can have the residential and not have the commercial there. And then we have the commercial zoning and we have the industrial zoning, which is a different type of zoning. So sometimes if anybody is interested in buying a home, they should check the zoning before they try to make it residential when it's done. So, thank you.
Okay, next is Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
First, I want to thank Mr. Lopez and Mrs. Pulley for coming out and speaking. I want to ask about the lights at the park.
I have a question, I got an answer for that. I talked to our park superintendent, and we're limited on the amount of electricians we have, but he's been trying for some time now to get somebody out there to start addressing it, but it is being worked on.
Okay. Congratulations to you, and congratulations to Mrs. Martinez, and glad to hear y'all been married as long as y'all have. I hope I make it that long. I'm just kidding, I will. I want to congratulate the mayor, and I'll let her bust the news out on why. Just to hit on the Second Street pothole, which y'all did, I actually drove by this morning and looked over at it. It was a pretty good sized pothole, and it's still intact. So whatever they did a really good job on it. hitting on the dumpsters as well. I agree, if you've got to go to another dumpster, we don't have any assigned, but going to a business dumpster can put that business in, out of compliance with the New Mexico Environmental Department. So please refrain from just dropping trash in a business dumpster because you think they got extra dumpsters. Some of the businesses have to have that dumped out because it causes the rodents and the infestations that can hamper a business. So just take that in consideration. Other than that, thank everybody for listening tonight, and that's all I got to say about that.
All right, Commissioner Arias.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations, Mark. Godspeed on these next 2 years, and hopefully we have many more out of you. Happy anniversary. I don't have much today. I'm kind of beaming with excitement today. Since I came on the commission, I was always bragging about the New Mexico Municipal League Molly's program, the Municipal Officials Leadership Institute. Well, and last November, I did complete that. And last Thursday, I did have the official graduation that was done virtually, and I would like to present that to the mayor on behalf of the citizens of Tucumcari. That belongs to you. My name may be on there, but this is belonging to the citizens of Tucumcari. And I would hope that would be hung up in City Hall for the citizens to share in the accomplishment.
It says Christopher W. Arias, Commissioner, City of Tucumcari 2020, Certified Municipal Official, New Mexico Municipal League Municipal Officials Leadership Institute. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I wasn't done for you. So you hang it here or you hang it at your house?
Go ahead and keep it here. It belongs to the city.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. My turn. First of all, I would like to say we didn't get this on the agenda in time, so I'm going to do it on my personal comments. I have a proclamation. It's whereas September the 17th, 2020 marks the 233rd anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas to accord official recognition to this memorable anniversary and to the patriotic exercise that will form a noteworthy feature of the occasion seems fitting and proper, and whereas public law number 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States designating September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, in accordance with this tradition, I hereby designate the period of September 17th through the 23rd, 2020 as Constitution Week in the city of Tucumcari, and urge all citizens to pay special attention during the week of our federal Constitution and the advantages of being of American citizenship. In witness, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Tucumcari to be affixed this 10th day of September 2020. And this will be presented to Ms. Gigi Parker, who is president of the Daughters of American Revolution.
Just a member.
Just a member, not just a member. She used to be a state president.
Yes.
So she's done a lot. So Gigi, I'm gonna give this to you. And we are very proud to have this as have you as our representative. And it's always a pleasure to recognize our Constitution here in America. We appreciate all you do.
This has been a very hard year to do anything. So, and this date did slip up on me. Thank you, and
You're welcome.
these people have taken care of me.
On the other note, I'd like to congratulate Mark. We appreciate all you've done for us in the interim, and we're looking forward to working with you for at least the next
I appreciate it.
at
At least 2 years.
least 2 years. And thank you for putting up with all of us and keeping him late at night. And we know that you miss out a lot of family time, but we do appreciate you, Jocelyn and girls. We appreciate you very much. And also happy anniversary.
Just for the record, just notice everybody's looked at her when they wished happy
She's the one making the sacrifice.
Happy anniversary, no eye contact with mine.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary. Another thing I would like to thank the code enforcement and the police department. I had a complaint this week on a house close to the Tucumcari, Everyone's Federal Credit Union, and you did take care of the problem for me, and I appreciate that very much. The lady called, she was very excited, so thank you very much. Now, my good news, today I became a great grandmother. She weighed 7 pounds and 14 ounces and was 20.5 inches long. So she's my son's wife, or well, it would be my son's daughter's daughter. So he would have been a grandfather. So anyway, very exciting to have a new life in the family. Thank you all for coming.
And her name?
Would you like to pardon?
And her name?
And her name is Eliana Grace Bigham. So, yeah, they all call her Ellie, but I call her Eliana because I think it's pretty. Anyway, but thank you all again for coming and for tuning in tonight. I'm glad we had a safe Labor Day with no accidents that I know of, and wish the cold weather's been nice, but let's get back to the 80 degree. I'm ready. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, roll call please.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes.
Commissioner Gamboa?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Recorders are off.
I think.
Make sure your mics are turned off.
You notice mine died up too?